Hey everybody, I'm live. How's it going? There's I just want to show you this. How do you call a kangaroo? Here, kangaroo. Here, kangaroo, kangaroo. Here, little kangaroo. I guess whistling doesn't work. They're very lazy. It's kind of hot out here today. Found myself in the kangaroo enclosure somehow. Am I supposed to be in here?
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
How do you call a kangaroo?
You train them.
Yeah, but I mean, what, like with a cat, you go pss, 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 you know, a dog, you whistle. How do you call a kangaroo?
These ones, you just work with them, and then they get to know you, and so you can call them by name. That's
really
so
they know their names.
Yeah, for their trainers, they do.
Wow,
Yes.
Amazing. Are they dangerous?
Not ours aren't, because they were all hand raised. The ones out in the wild can be sometimes.
Can you pet them?
Only if they come up to the sidewalk.
Only if they come to you. You can't get off the sidewalk.
Correct.
Okay, cool. What's that one's name?
That is Trinity.
Trinity?
And Tafeth.
And what?
Tafeth.
Tafeth.
Yep.
It's like a Bible name or something, right?
They all are Bible.
Cool. You don't have any name Skull Crusher or anything like that? Okay, we're going to go see Trinity and Tafeth over here. Tafeth. Trinity. They're like, leave me alone. I'm taking a nap. Tafeth. Tafeth. Trinity. I think they're dead. If they weren't breathing. If you couldn't see them breathing, you'd think they were dead. Look at him. That's how I feel out here right now. He's just like, ugh, I'm so dead.
This is so cool.
Is this cool?
Yeah.
You having fun?
Yeah.
So I'm at the Ark Encounter in Williamstown, Kentucky. And they have more than their share of kangaroos, probably because the founder, Ken Ham, is from Australia. And so these may be his personal kangaroos, I don't know. We're in the petting zoo at the moment, and I'm trying to find my wife and Nathan and Rabina. They're around here somewhere. What's in here? Something. I don't know. Anyway, I thought I'd just carry you around with me and lemurs. Oh yeah, gosh. Wow, look at them all. They're funny looking animals. Let's see here. Look at the lemurs. They're all like, get away. I want one. Those are really cute. Oh, there's a few more outside. Most of them are inside, though. It must be hot. I mean, it is hot. Without a doubt, it's hot. And they bite. That's surprising. They have teeth. So we came here to interview the founder of, here's the lovely family. And little baby.
We're melting.
Adora. Yeah, we're melting out here. We came here to interview Ken Ham, the founder of the Answers in Genesis, which the Ark came out of. And I'll carry you around a little bit and let you see the Ark as we walk back that direction. But it's been a really cool day. This is a place that I've wanted to go for a long, long time. And it's kind of been on my list, but we haven't ever been. So we're really enjoying it. There's a scale model, not scale model. There's a life-size Ark, Noah's Ark replica over there. And it's 500 feet long and 51 feet high and 80-something feet wide. It looks like a cargo ship to me. And What is this thing? Oh, it's a civet cat. These are the ones that make coffee, or they make that coffee out of. They eat the beans, and then when they pass the beans through their system, then they clean them up and make coffee out of them. Connie calls that weasel butt coffee.
Chuck, for goodness sakes, you need to tell everybody the things I say.
I tried it once in Thailand, and it wasn't all that great.
You tried to get me to drink it out.
I tried to get Connie to try it, and she was smarter than that. She wouldn't drink it.
Oh, yeah, porcupine.
What is it? What's in there?
Porcupine.
Oh, porcupine. Wow, porcupines. Cool. So I thought this was a petting zoo, but with their porcupines, I guess probably not. There's camels over here. I didn't know they had so much. This place is like Disneyland. So I just thought it was the Ark, but it's a lot more than the Ark. Let's see, over here, I'll turn the camera around so you can see the camel walking over there. There's a camel. Isn't that fun? If you're going with us to Jordan and Israel in October, you'll have a chance to ride one of those. Hey, thank you very much. I can't see who. It's too bright out here. I can't see the chat very well. So we've been here since about 9 o'clock this morning, and this place is a full day, no question. There's not just the Ark, which in and of itself you could spend a whole day in. I mean, it is absolutely fascinating. You learn so much about how Noah's Ark really happened. I mean, a lot of people you hear say, oh, well, how could Noah have actually fit 2 of every animal on earth on the Ark? Well, they answer that question in there, and it makes a lot of sense. And check this out. There's some llamas. I guess these are alpacas and llamas. This one, I think his name is Obama Llama. And that's his wife over there, Michelle Obama Llama, or Mama Obama Llama. I'm making that up. I don't know. I don't know what their names are. They're cute though. I'm surprised that Connie hasn't made me get one. Connie labors under the impression that if it's cute, she has to own it. And that's why she got me, of course. But that's why we have monkeys and 3 dogs and a cat. So you could spend all day inside the Ark itself. Just that's like 3-4 levels high, and it is a replica. It's the size that they believe that the Ark in the Bible actually was, and it's all built from wood. So it's the largest freestanding timber frame structure on the planet today. There's some zebras. Stripedy horses. And that inside, I mean, you figure they've got a lot of cages with, replicas of the different animals in them and stuff. But you even get a sense for how they dealt with feeding and watering all these animals, and how they handled the waste from all these animals and everything like that. So, I mean, you just learn so much. Like, now I can kind of picture it in my head. It really makes sense. They've done a tremendous amount of study on this, and have, oh, this is the petting zoo here. They've done a lot of study on it. And so I really enjoyed that part. Then they have a bookstore where Connie bought pretty much one of everything, because she's really interested in all this, the archaeology of it and everything like that. Yeah, this is in Kentucky. We're in Williamstown, Kentucky. And there's the hairy pig. Yeah, it's kind of like the county fair, isn't it? Peccary and a warthog relatives. So what they basically say, if you wonder how they fit all of these animals on the ark, two of everything, well, basically, there weren't near as many animals back then because, the animals that they had on the ark have evolved into all the animals today. So they had, like 2 dogs, but they were ancient varieties of dogs that have now expanded into everything from wolves to foxes to the domesticated dogs that we know today. So one pair of ancient dogs covered all of that. And you extrapolate that to all the different kinds of animals, and it really makes sense. It really narrows down the number of animals that they had to have on the ark. It was something like, I want to say like 4,000 total animals, and that includes like bats and bugs and frogs and little things like that. Also, if they had, let's say, an animal like this, they had a much smaller version of it back then, and God didn't send them full-grown adults. He sent them juveniles, which would make them more survivable, a lot smaller. They don't eat as much, they don't poop as much, and they don't take up as much space. So, when you extrapolate that out to all the animals that came to the ark, it actually is doable. And they've built this ark over here, and they show you that they would all fit on the ark. It's really cool to see. It also talks about some of the other, talks about some of the other like flood narratives that are out there. There are flood narratives in almost every culture on planet Earth, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, and there are flood narratives from everywhere from Hawaii to Vanuatu to Syria, you name it. And these different narratives just show that virtually every culture on planet Earth knows that there was an ancient flood. So there's a lot of great kind of apologetics for the Bible that you learn being here. And people come here from all over the globe. There are more than 2 million people a year that visit this place. I highly recommend it. You should put it on your bucket list if you haven't been here. It's really cool. So I'm going to take you over to the ark now and show you the building itself. So we just got finished interviewing Ken Ham, who is the founder of Answers in Genesis Ministries and the guy who sort of started it all. He's, as I said, he's an Australian, and he was a school teacher, and he started out back in the 70s teaching school, and all of his kids, were like, well, everybody knows the Bible isn't true because Noah couldn't have fit 2 of every animal on the ark. That was really the question that started it all. And it started him on this journey of trying to figure out whether or not it was true, and lo and behold, found plenty of evidence to sort of prove to himself and to everybody else that yes, it certainly was possible. And while he's at it, there's a lot of other questions like that from the book of Genesis and elsewhere in the Bible that he, set out to come up with answers that are acceptable. I mean, when I was in college, I went through this phase of, I've been going to church my whole life, and so I've heard all the Bible stories and everything, but kind of started doubting and saying, how can this stuff really be true? And there are these questions that people are asking me that I really don't have answers for, like, how could a good God allow death and suffering and hardship and things like that? And so I went searching for answers myself, one of the places that led me was to Answers in Genesis. And in finding answers in Genesis and reading some of their literature, I realized there are good answers to all of those questions that people bring up when they start to doubt that the Bible is true. There are good, solid answers to those questions if you're just willing to do the work to go find them. And that's what it took for me, was just getting to the point where I was willing to do the work to go and find the answers to these questions. So to me, coming here is a little bit like a pilgrimage, because I got so much out of the material from Answers in Genesis when I was in college, and now they've got this massive theme park basically here. It opened in 2016, so many years after I got out of college. I actually talked to Ken Ham when I was in college on the phone one time, because I was struggling with some of these questions, and I forget how I found his number or got a hold of him, but he was just starting his own ministry at that time. And I had a conversation with him on the phone about something, and of course he doesn't remember that. Don't blame him. But so this is I think the aft end of the boat here. And you see this building that it's connected to. They had to do that so that they could put bathrooms and a gift shop and stuff in there, and for it to be up to code. You can imagine that the building codes today are somewhat different than they were in Noah's time, as you can no doubt understand. So I'm going to go inside here for a second just to try to show you the inside of this thing. I don't know if I'm going in the gift shop entrance, so this is the exit, but we'll see if we can show you this a little bit. Whew. Okay. Oh, air conditioning. I don't think Noah had air conditioning, but
I don't know if they have.
so they have a very nice, very big gift shop, of course. And they have restaurants here. Like I said, it's really a full-fledged theme park. It's like Disneyland. No, that goes to outside. I guess I missed it. Baby's sweating. Look at her, little Aurora. Yeah, hi, sweetie. Hi. You see Grandpa? She's so cute. You guys about ready to go? I guess probably can't go up this way. Sorry, I lost a signal when I went inside. Pretty warm out here today. So they got a restaurant over here. And they're having the world's largest Christian music festival here right now. For 40 days, they're having basically concerts of popular Christian artists every day. So so can you see this? Look at this thing, 500 feet long. It's got a ramp on it. I'll go around in front of it here. Pretty cool to see. Obviously they used some modern techniques and everything to build this thing, because it wouldn't be legal to let people go inside it if you built it the way they did back then. And it would have taken, the real ark took 75 years probably to build, and probably would have taken them that long again. So if they didn't use modern technology and equipment, then they'd still be working on it. But they brought in a bunch of Amish builders who understand, timber framing, and they built this thing. It took about 6 years to build. Probably, I want to guess, $100 million. It was built with donations. But it's a sight to see. Look at this thing. Is that not cool? Look at that. Massive. There's a lake here in front of it. I'm gonna sit down for just a second, see if I can see some of the, ooh. I can't see much of the, because it's so hot out here, my phone's overheating. So it's turned down the brightness on the screen so I can't see it. If I get in the shade here, maybe I can see it. So over here, they have a virtual reality experience, which might sound gimmicky, but we went and did it, and it's really cool. Hey, how you doing? So you put on these virtual reality goggles, and you sit in a seat that moves, and it blows air at you, and you get smells and all kinds of stuff. And there's a zip line that goes over there, that tower you see. Anyway, look at this. Is that not cool? Pretty awesome. Now this is an addition to the Creation Museum, but that's like an hour away drive from here up in, I think, Cincinnati, Ohio or someplace. So we're not going to get a chance to see that today. Usually you would need 2 days to see both of these attractions. We bought a book that has, we bought a book about the Creation Museum, right?
Yeah, all the signs that are in the Creation Museum. You need to take
Cool.
a tour of the bookstore. It's pretty spectacular.
Oh yeah, the bookstore is really cool. We'll go in there.
Half my time there.
Yeah, Connie bought so many books we had to kick the baby out of her stroller. The baby weighs a lot less than the books do. So what do you think of the virtual reality thing?
That was fun, but I'm into that stuff.
Yeah.
I love to play with the kids' Google goggle, whatever
Yeah,
those things
and
are.
it takes you
I
back
love
in
it.
time.
Oh, yeah, have a good time with that.
You get to like see the
Yeah.
water flooding down and making the ark float for the first time. That's pretty wild. Pretty cool. There's some kids about to do the zip line up there. Here, I'll flip this around. Looks like they're getting ready to go.
I don't know, it's like 110 degrees out here.
That's Ken Ham's office up there. That's where we interviewed him. Whoop.
I didn't realize they had so much homeschool stuff.
You didn't realize they had so much homeschool stuff?
When we were homeschooling, man, I had a
Oh yeah, it would have been great when we were schooling our kids.
great stuff.
Yeah, I'm afraid if I go in here, I'm going to lose signal, so I'm going to go around. Okay. So this thing's like 800 acres, and like I said, it definitely takes a day to see. So if you're going to see the Creation Museum as well, plan for 2 days. I highly recommend it though. We're going to go through the Rainbow Arch here. And we're about to get on the bus and head back over to the parking area. So that is your tour through the Ark Encounter in Williamstown, Kentucky. Let me get over here in the shade and maybe I can see some of your comments. Let's see if I can, that's as bright as it gets. Here.
Really, tell them to get on the website and check things out for books.
Oh yeah.
All the way from kindergarten to high school.
They do have some great books here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put my glasses on a second.
Science, chemistry, anatomy.
No, actually, they mean the rainbow. Glenn Cootie says Rainbow Arch has gayness invaded. Nope, they mean the rainbow in the way that God meant the rainbow. And the gays have co-opted the rainbow for their own perverted ends, but that's not what it means here. Let's see, thank you for, I'm just looking for any questions. Oh, thanks, One Tired Mama, for putting the website up. You guys want to? Oh, okay, you're gonna go inside? Yeah, definitely recommend that you come. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions here. You don't remember reading of Noah's zipline in the Bible? Really? You don't? You missed that part, huh? That's in 2 Hesitations, chapter 7. Go look it up. Do you pay extra for the zip line? I suppose you do, but I didn't do the zip line. $100 million could feed and house a lot of people. It could. Could also save a lot of people. And that's what this is here for. The point of the Creation Science Museum and the Ark Encounter are to educate people about the truth of the Bible and bring people to a saving knowledge of the Bible. And you know, feeding people is great, but saving them for eternity is even better. And so I don't have any problem with them spending $100 million on this. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, and two things can be true at the same time. We can help the hungry and try to save their souls. But it's the soul saving that is more important than feeding them. We feed them as a means to an end. Williamstown, Kentucky. Lisa says it seems like it was more like 120 years to build. Some people say 100, some people say 120. They go through a lot of the science here and kind of help you show you what the most accurate reading or understanding is now. And the most accurate understanding of how long it took to build the ark was about 75 years, according to what they have here. Same thing with like, where is the ark today? I asked Ken Ham that question, and he said the same thing I've often said, and that is the real ark would not still be there on top of Mount Ararat, because Noah and his family would have taken it apart and used it for other things. You wouldn't leave a structure that big and just walk away from it. That's a lot of value, even if you just used it for firewood. And it's cold in Armenia, so they would have needed firewood, you know. So I am virtually 100% certain that the ark, the ancient ark, is not there to be found. It's 4,000 years ago, 4,300 years ago, when it landed up there on Mount Ararat. And wood doesn't last that long. Even 4,000-year-old stone structures don't last very long. Don't last that long very well. I really believe that the actual ark was taken apart and used for other things. But even if it wasn't, Mount Ararat is larger today than it was at that time, and that's due to volcanic activity. So if the ark was up there, it probably would have gotten burned up by all of the volcanic activity. So, no, I'm filming this direction.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine the smell? Actually, it was very interesting to see how they think that they dealt with the waste in the ark. That was one of the most interesting things to me. They had two theories on how they dealt with it. Both of them were very ingenious. And one of the points that they made that really struck me today was that just because those people lived 4,000 years ago, the evolutionary thinking says that we came from monkeys. So that stands to reason that human beings 4,000 years ago were a lot dumber or simpler than we are today. But just because they didn't have iPhones or computer chips or something doesn't mean that they were actually less intelligent. If you believe the Bible, which says that man was made in God's image. So the men that lived 4,000 years ago were just as intelligent inherently as we are. They didn't have the benefit of thousands of years of progress that was made by intelligent humans, but they were still intelligent. And so they came up with ingenious solutions for things that we've even forgotten today. And going through that ark, seeing how they, for example, collected water to water all the animals and how they dealt with the waste and things like that makes me realize that's right. It's a mistake to think that people 4,000 years ago were dumber than we are, less intelligent than we are, just because they didn't have the technology that we do. They were very intelligent people, very resourceful people, and God showed them a way to reveal to them a way to take care of all of those animals, keep them all alive, even to the point of, like, for example, raising moths in a box and then connecting the box to the pots where they held the reptiles, amphibians, things like that eat moths, and so they fed themselves over the whole time. It was crazy. Just the ingenuity that went into the way that they took care of those animals. So I really recommend you come and take a look at it. You know, I thought it would be cool to come here and to see that big building, but it's a whole lot more than that. It's a lot more than just seeing a giant structure that's the size of the actual ark. It's learning a lot about my own faith that bolsters my faith and helps me understand that yes, it is true. It does make sense. You know, we've made the story of Noah's Ark into a fairy tale, but it's not a fairy tale. It's a story of redemption, and it's a story of salvation. And that's what we should look at it as. The other thing that struck me was they have a whole exhibit about what life was like, what the world was like before the flood, and how debauched and depraved the world was back then. And I have to say, it looked a lot like what I see in America today. Matter of fact, I was kind of looking in the paintings they have of what the world looked like back then to see if I could spot an Antifa flag or a gay rights flag or and you know, that sort of thing, because that is exactly what, just imagine San Francisco, Detroit, Chicago, New York City, but without all the modern conveniences, and that's what the world looked like back then. From a moral standpoint, that's what the world looked like back then. And God said that he regretted having made human beings and was going to wipe them all off the face of the earth, and only saved 8 people out of all of that. And all of us descend from those people. There was even more that I learned about how all of us descended from those 8 people and still maintained our diversity, maintained our different skin tones and things like that. There are good explanations for all those things that are really fascinating. So I highly recommend you go look at it. Somebody said they had a question. Zach's example, what's your question? Will I share the interview with you? I'm going to put the interview up on CBN's YouTube page, so be looking over there for that. Let's see. Just looking here. Well, how much of the world was covered by the flood? According to the Bible, every bit of it. Even the tallest mountains were covered to at least a depth of 15 meters of water. However, keep in mind, and this is another thing I've learned today I'd never thought of, the mountains that we have today weren't necessarily as big as back then as they are now. So Mount Ararat, for example, much taller now than it was 4,000 years ago. Very likely that the entire globe was one continent back then. And so as the continents broke apart and crashed together and everything, the mountain ranges we have today were formed after the flood took place. So we didn't have 30,000 foot mountains like Mount Everest back then. And that's likely how the whole entire earth was flooded at that time. So pretty cool. How did they get rid of their waste to compost? They had a very cool system set up where the cages were stacked on top of each other. Underneath each cage was a slanted board that went to a central channel. And so they had like two stacks of cages, one behind the other. But between the two stacks, there was a space, and all of the waste flowed down and into that space and went all the way down to the floor, where there was another slanted board that brought the waste out just in front of the cages. So all they had to do was, they had a special tool that looked kind of like a hoe that they would just drag through that channel and drag it all into a bucket or a wheelbarrow or something like that, and dump it into a central part of the boat that had like a moon pool. So the depth or the level of the ocean came up inside that moon pool, helped to stabilize the ship, but it also washed away all of the waste with salt water. It's ingenious. Very cool. How'd they seal the door? The Bible says that God shut the door behind them. But they sealed the boat with pitch, so that it was like tar or pitch that they put all over the outside. One other thing I learned is that the ark was made from gopher wood. Well, we don't have gopher wood today. There's no such thing. So we don't really exactly know what gopher wood was. Some translations translate that as cypress, and they think maybe it was like cypress, but we really don't know exactly. And so we don't know how hard it was, or how waterproof it was, or bug resistant, or anything like that. Some people also think it might have been made of cedar. Anyway, let's see here. Question. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got for you today, folks. Thanks for watching the Hot Zone. And I will put up, if you go to chuckholton.com, I will put up a video with some of the scenes from inside that I shot today to give you a sense for what this looks like on the inside of the ark. Very, very interesting. So I highly recommend it. Go to chuckholton.com and you can subscribe over there, follow my work, support my work. And it looks like I'm going to be headed back to Israel earlier than I thought because of what's happening over there. So I'll probably be leaving this Saturday to go back to Israel, and I'll be over there reporting on the war. So stay tuned, folks. God bless you. We'll see you.